What do you save and invest for? What's the ultimate goal? Is it for freedom, more money, security, for fun? Well, whichever answer that you come up with, the reality is that most of us are investing for our future retirement income. Ultimately, we're all investing so that we'll have enough money to withdraw and live off of each year of our retirement when we're no longer working full time. Sure, short term investing can sometimes be fun, and maybe we'll take $10,000 out of an IRA for our first home purchase or dip in a little bit of our investment savings to remodel the house. But this is usually not the primary reason that we strive for a higher return and increased savings rates. That main reason, again, is for retirement income, so that we can secure our financial future and be able to regularly withdraw the amount of money that we need when retirement time rolls around. The core concept of a successful retirement is fairly simple. Accumulate a large enough retirement account to a point where the growth and the earnings earned will generate enough income to support your lifestyle without the need to work any longer. Once you reach that point, factoring in Social Security and other additional retirement income, you can afford to retire, financially speaking. From there, the choice is how much longer you'd like to work. Retirement's certainly a thought on the minds of many from age 25 onward. Even millennials in my age range are considering what they need to be doing for retirement, since the likelihood for us of gathering Social Security income during our retirement years decreases as our nation's debt and other obligations continue to rise. And let's also not forget that our life expectancy, all of us, it continues to rise with advances in medicine. When our parents and grandparents' life expectancy was somewhere in the 60s and 70s, our retirement planning, their retirement planning was slightly more simple. Now, most of us watching this video have the very real possibility of living well into our 80s or 90s, maybe even longer than that, depending on what sort of progress modern medicine will provide. The point of all of this is retirement planning is getting more complex as uncertainties arise, especially when we're not sure if we should plan on 15, 20, or 30 plus years in retirement. Not everyone's afforded the luxury of simply building a large retirement account, then riding off into the sunset with enough money to last all of their retirement years. With all of this saving and investing, we want to rest assured that we won't outlive our money. As a starting point in your retirement planning, let's map out your financial journey and get an understanding of the two separate phases that we all go through in our financial lives. The decisions that we make are highly impacted depending on the phase that we're in. So here's the first financial phase. Investing during our working years while we're building up our retirement accounts to a number which we can then withdraw each year during retirement is called the accumulation phase of our financial lives. We're climbing up the retirement hill, working and hopefully accumulating assets over the years that are growing, compounding, and otherwise accumulating their way up to the sort of numbers that we need in order to be able to retire comfortably. This is the first phase of your financial life. It can be defined as your entire life up until the second financial phase, which we'll get into. And for most of us, it's usually the longer of the two phases. The longer and more you can continue to accumulate, the better off you'll be in the second financial phase. The accumulation phase is usually when you're earning more money than you're spending, and you're saving at least part of the excess earnings into your retirement accounts. We call it the accumulation phase with the idea that usually you're contributing more to your accounts each year, and you're investing them in areas where your money will grow and accumulate over time. Your actions in this phase are what will ultimately determine what kind of lifestyle you'll be able to sustain during the next phase in life. For example, let's consider John and Jane's scenario. At 60 years old, retirement's a lingering thought on their minds and in the actions they're taking with their investments. They're hoping to retire in about 6 years, and they collectively earn about $80,000 per year, and they save around $8,000 each year, 10% of their income, into their retirement accounts, spread among their 401ks and IRAs. Adding their accounts up reveals they have just over $400,000 saved for retirement so far. They're a little nervous as to what that means for their retirement and if they're doing the right things. Since they're still working and building up their retirement accounts, they're in the accumulation phase of their financial life. Once they stop saving for retirement and they begin to supplement their Social Security income with disbursements from their retirement accounts, they'll begin the second financial phase of their lives. After you've climbed up the accumulation hill and reached the peak, the second phase of your financial life kicks in. At this point, the ideal scenario is that you'll be able to withdraw and live off of 1, Social Security income, 2, employer-sponsored pension plans, if you have that, 3, disbursements from your retirement accounts, 401k, IRA, 403b, etc., 4, annuity income, and 5, additional wages or different business income. The second phase in your financial life is called the withdrawal phase. This is when the accumulation phase might have ended and you've started withdrawing money out of your retirement accounts rather than contributing to them each year. Hence the name withdrawal, meaning you're dispersing or withdrawing funds from your retirement accounts. This phase most commonly begins at or near the time of retirement. As a side note, there can also be a hybrid stage where you're still accumulating and saving money, yet you're forced to withdraw from a retirement account based on something like age. Being in one phase does not always necessarily mean you can't also be in another for a limited time. Continuing to accumulate even while making withdrawals would be a positive scenario. The withdrawal phase is usually what we're all aiming to maximize when investing, and certainly when considering our retirement. The longer we can make this amount last from the top of the hill, the more financially secure we'll be. Entering the withdrawal phase does not necessarily mean your account will not continue to grow. That is, as long as your withdrawal rate is less than your growth rate, which is the goal in reality for many. A fairly typical withdrawal situation is illustrated in the chart here. It reflects that their withdrawal rate is greater than their earnings rate. In other words, they're withdrawing more than they're earning, which is why the orange account size line is going down towards 0. Keep in mind, however, that our goal is to get listeners and clients to smooth and flatten out this withdrawal line as much as possible. We want to avoid this line going to 0. The smoother your withdrawal line is, the longer your money will last for you and your family. And that's done by shrinking the gap between rate of return and withdrawal rate. For example, if you're withdrawing about 6% of your account balance each year and you're only earning 4%, this line will drop, like you see in this chart, since you'd be withdrawing more than you're earning. If you can bump that earnings rate up to 8% or more, or lower your withdrawal rate to 4% or less, then the withdrawal line would flatten out or maybe even rise. If your withdrawal rate's exactly equal to your earnings rate, the withdrawal line will go straight across. If you can maintain a higher earnings rate than withdrawal rate, then that line will continue to rise rather than drop off, which would be a great thing. This is the ultimate goal in retirement, an ever-increasing withdrawal line that continues up and away from 0. Earn more on your account than you spend each year, and you'll never run out of money during retirement. Of course, that's much easier said than done. It just goes to show that withdrawal phases are different for everybody. The withdrawal phase does not have to mean your account value is dwindling, though in most cases it does. It can be a little intimidating to see that line drop rapidly and your account value drop quickly. This is what we want you to avoid. You avoid this by spending less, earning more, or increasing the rate of return. Let's go back to our couple, John and Jane. Let's fast forward 6 years when they'll retire and they're going to be beginning their withdrawal phase. At this point, they're 66 and they'll elect to take Social Security income, which will provide them with just over $33,000 combined each year. In addition to this, they now have built up their retirement accounts to a collective total of about $695,000. Here's the calculation for the final 6 years of their accumulation phase, solving for their future value. Given their retirement inputs and solving for how much do you need to live on annually, this $695,000 will provide them with an additional $47,000 per year to withdraw from the accumulation of their retirement accounts. So this gives them the $33,000 from Social Security plus the $47,000 from their retirement account withdrawals for a grand total of around $80,000 that they're planning to live on each year during retirement. Now that their accumulation phase is complete, the withdrawal phase of their lives begins. This amount they have available will allow them to maintain just about the same financial level that they've grown accustomed to during their peak earnings years, which is great. Now they have financial security and they're confident their hard work and savings will last them for the rest of their lifetime. Of course, if they want even more financial and retirement security, they could lower their withdrawal rate each year by either spending less or earning income elsewhere, thereby requiring lower disbursements from their accumulated accounts. They could also seek higher rates of return, which would allow their money to go further. No matter which financial phase you're currently in, we hope that you'll take the necessary steps to secure your future. If you still have a decent amount of time left in the first phase, the accumulation phase, aim for the withdrawal phase where your account values continue to rise. This can be done by saving more now or increasing returns now and during the withdrawal phase. This would provide an immense amount of financial freedom, and it can absolutely be done if you focus your sights on it now as your major financial goal. However, be sure to also manage your risk. Don't seek out higher rates of return by taking immense amounts of risk. Learn how to invest in something like stocks or currency and take advantage of low valued real estate markets or something, or a combination of the different strategies that will increase your chances of a higher rate of return without increasing your risk substantially. Do it in a smart way. If you're already in the withdrawal phase, take steps now to either increase your rate of return or decrease fees or reduce spending or earn additional income. Talk to us if you'd like some help calculating what you're on track for and how much you'll need in order to retire. We can also help you in coming up with some simple strategies to save money, cut management fees, increase income, or raise your rate of return. Overall, remember what it is you're working and saving for. Set your financial goals and stay disciplined in your saving and investment strategies. This is the best way to secure your future retirement income. After all, it's what we're all ultimately investing for. So thanks for listening.